within our minds, we merge with and become one with the mind of infinite intelligence. There's a point where this original thinker guides our thoughts and actions to solve any problem that we may encounter. Finding this place within our minds and discovering this power and consciously unifying our minds with this power is incredible. Initially, most people hear that and they think that's too good to be true. How can I tap into this power and have it guide and direct me to solving a problem or into success or with my small little trivial matters when it's got so many more important things that it must have to do? Yet, when you do something as simple as answering your cell phone or turning on your computer or going to take a drink of water, you're connecting with the same source. You're connecting with the same power, and you just take it for granted. Fundamentally speaking, infinite intelligence is the one and only mind that there is. There's only one mind in existence, and we all utilize this, whether we realize it or not. You see, we've become accustomed to thinking as if we have private minds and private egos and private selves, and therefore we use the creative powers of our mind to reinforce these erroneous structures of isolation within our minds. And we believe that we are all alone. But in reality, that would be as if you have your very own air that you breathe, that you live in a universe where you have your own private air and you don't share the oxygen with other people. You don't share the air with other people. You have your own private atmosphere and you don't share the atmosphere with other people. So that doesn't make sense when we think of it in that regard, but mind is no different. Your mind is one with the mind of everybody. It's one that we all share. And that's why in the Old Testament, when Moses said, the word resides within our own mouths, the word of God resides within our own mouths, what he meant is that the mind of infinite intelligence resides within our own minds. The creative ability of infinite intelligence is one with our creative ability. So when we say things like there is one life, there is one mind, there's one power, there's one source, there's one substance, we really do mean that. But we mean it in a universal way, not in some sort of monotheistic way of there's some singular deity out there that is really busy, and I hope that they can find time one day to help me out with this problem. The mind that is infinite intelligence is actually commonplace, and turning to the mind of infinite intelligence for guidance is the most natural thing in the world. Divine guidance is received by people all the time, whether they call it that or not. Whether you call it that or not, all of the wonderful inventions and discoveries in this world have been guided. The same mind that was in Einstein is in you. Through your personality and through your own ego constructs, you may not have the same setup as how you utilize that mind as, say, Einstein or Beethoven, but the mind is the same nonetheless. In order to receive the guidance that you seek from infinite intelligence, you must expect it. Just like you must expect that when you turn on your phone, something will happen, or you'll never have the gumption to try to turn on your phone. You'll never have the gumption to try to turn on a light if you don't expect that it's going to work. If you don't expect that your computer is going to work, you're not going to start typing in it. So you need to expect that you're going to receive the guidance that you need from infinite intelligence in order to use it properly. Going back to the air, if you think about the oxygen in the room, the oxygen doesn't think about weighing the pros and cons of whether you're good enough before it enters into your lungs. It's just there for you, and you breathe it in. And you do it very naturally. That same oxygen is there for everybody. Doesn't matter if you agree that they have a right to that oxygen or not. The oxygen doesn't really care. It's not up to your vote whether anybody else gets the oxygen. And that's what infinite intelligence is. It's there for everybody. There's no special people. We don't question the availability of oxygen, but for some reason we question the availability of infinite intelligence. We don't question everybody's right to take a breath. but we question people's right as to whether they're good enough to receive the gifts of infinite intelligence. It's very important to understand that your judgments are of absolutely no consequence to infinite intelligence. And all that your judgments will give you is your own lack of accessibility to the infinite. Because when you start carving out things in your mind of who's deserving and who's not deserving, who's good, who's bad, based on their actions, then you're judging yourself based on your own actions, how deserving you are. But none of that comes from infinite intelligence. And see, that's what in the New Testament, what that character named Jesus meant when he said, as you judge, so will you be judged. Not by God, but by you. By your own deep mind. That's how the ego works. If you start judging other people, then by the same token, are you judging yourself and allowing yourself to have less access to infinite intelligence to solve your problems and to help you, because you desire other people to have less access to that, even though you may not say it in those terms. Anytime you start having a judgment on anybody else's value, you are shortchanging your own access to that power. So it's really important, out of self-interest, to release the judgments that we have about other people so that we have full access to that power ourselves. The life of infinite intelligence is already in you. The idea that you must invoke infinite intelligence or that you must invoke divine power is a little misguided. The only thing that an invocation does is alert your awareness to the presence of that which is already there. Because if infinite life wasn't a part of you, you wouldn't be alive. If infinite intelligence wasn't already a part of you, you wouldn't be thinking. If oxygen wasn't available to you, you wouldn't be breathing. So when you are aware of something, you're aware of that which was already there. So as you awaken, as you are enlightened, it's not that you're getting something new, it's that you're becoming aware of everything that's already there in you, in your mind. So when that character called Jesus said, it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, that's what it meant. It's oxygen's good pleasure to keep you alive. Now, it's not about searching for the divine or trying to merge your mind with infinite intelligence. If it wasn't already merged, you wouldn't be thinking. There's no mysterious occult secret here, except for the fact that all occult secrets are put in plain sight in order to keep them hidden. All of the masters of the occult put all of the most important secrets right in plain sight. So you can see that it doesn't really require a great stretch of your imagination to understand that infinite intelligence is already within you. When you recognize that you are thinking, that you do have access to all imagination, you can come up with all kinds of thoughts. That's an action of the mind that is proof that you are one with infinite intelligence. So when you are aware of this and you can turn to infinite intelligence, which already is within you, you can be guided and led, and things can work out for you, and problems can be solved. Sometimes by guiding your actions, and sometimes without your actions being necessary. But you don't want to theorize about this. You want to have visceral proof of this. You want to prove this for yourself and to yourself, because otherwise it's not usable. You want to actually take the breath. You don't want to think about the breath. You want practical experience over and over and over again. That's how you'll know that this is usable for you. There's this idea that if there's a problem, that somehow you need to search for the solution to the problem, or you need to come up with a solution for the problem, or somehow the solution to the problem is something that you are responsible for. But if you think about a math problem, the teacher writes the math problem on the board, the student is required to realize the answer to that problem, not create the answer to the problem. 2 + 2 already has the answer. It's inherent in the problem. The student just has to understand the principles of the mathematics in order to discover the answer that already exists. And that's true for all problems. The answer existed before the problem existed. That's the divine compassion of the infinite, the compassion of infinite intelligence. No matter what kind of problem the human mind can come up with, the answer is already there. We cannot stump the infinite. The infinite cannot be stumped. Spirit cannot be stumped. And so once you understand that, you come from that premise when you start working with the infinite intelligence that exists within your own mind by saying the problem already has an answer. The answer already exists. The answer to this problem now reveals itself to me. And then you're guided and led one step at a time to revealing that answer, to finding the principles necessary to follow in order for that answer to be revealed to you. And that's why we say anything is possible to us that is in the realm of what the infinite wills. If it's part of the infinite's will, it's possibility for us if we but access that intelligence within us where those possibilities lie, be those solutions to problems or the realization of dreams and desires and goals. All of it is available to us. It's not something that we need to search for outside of ourselves. It's something that needs to be acknowledged that already exists within us. To reiterate, the answer to all of your problems exists within the mind of the infinite. Infinite intelligence already has the answer. You and infinite intelligence are one. Therefore, the answer to your problems lies within your own mind, because the mind of the infinite is flowing through your mind right now. And if you can accept this and understand this, then you will be willing to realize this. If you come from the perspective that this is unsolvable, or that this will never work for me, or I'm all by myself, or I need to figure this out, or whatever those other sort of egoic type thoughts are that are anything but aligning with where the problem already is solved in your mind and in the mind of infinite intelligence, then you're not going to be open to searching in the place where the solution exists. Somebody that had a series of questions that were quite interesting, and I liked the questions, and I did answer the questions, but the premise of all of the questions were, this is all BS. This whole thing is nonsense. So therefore, that's what they're going to get from that course, because they've given themselves the framework through which they're going to receive what they're going to receive. And this is all BS, and none of this works. And that's what they get. That's the creative power of the mind. And the same goes true with if you're looking for a solution, you say, well, I don't really buy all this infinite intelligence stuff, and I think I just have to figure this out myself. Well, then that's going to be the case for you. That's going to be what's true for you, because that's how powerful your mind is. If you're not open to where the answer already exists within your mind, then you're going to continue searching for the answer everywhere that it does not exist. But if you come to the realization, I can think, I'm a creative person, and just very much as above, so below, just like I'm breathing the same oxygen as everybody else, maybe I do have the same mind as everybody else, and maybe the creator is within that same mind, and it comes from that source, and maybe there is a solution to this problem, and maybe my realization of the answer to the problem does come straight from source through my mind, and it's available to me here and now. I'm going to see if that's true. That's all it takes, is a willingness to accept the possibility that that's true. And then it's up to us to prove that it's true. And once we've proven that it's true with success after success, then it's just as easy as breathing for us. Since your relationship with infinite intelligence and divine guidance is a matter of thought, then faith and conviction are also matters of thought. And through faith and conviction, you are opening that channel and aligning yourself with the stream of consciousness wherein the solution to your problem lies. Instead of saying, I have this problem and I just don't know what to do and I'm stumped, you can say, I have an opportunity for self-expression here, and infinite intelligence knows exactly what to do with it. And I'm willing to align myself with infinite intelligence and allow the answer to this problem to express itself through me. The key to all of this is being very certain that your mind is directed toward the solution rather than denying that a solution is possible, because your power is vast. The power of your mind is vast. So you can very easily use the power of your mind to disconnect yourself from the solutions. You can say, no, it's all me. I'm stumped. Nothing can help me. We're doomed. And you can think that. And you can create that experience for yourself. But you can also just as easily remind yourself that you're not alone and that you didn't create yourself and that there's a power greater than you and that that's not something that is belittling you. That's something that should comfort you because this power is very interested in helping you, but can't do it without your participation. And you must take the first step. And that first step is acknowledging that it's possible, acknowledging that it's there, and being willing to allow it to work through you. And you want to do this stuff simply. Now, a lot of magic has some big complexity to it. Some of that complexity is ego-driven, and some of it is there for a reason. But for the most part, when you have a big problem, you don't need a complicated solution. You need to simplify your method. And the easiest method is to take time for meditation and prayer and to relax your body and mind, close your eyes, and connect with, to the best of your ability, that part of your mind that is connected to infinite intelligence. And you can do that just by affirming that it is true, that it is so. I am now one with infinite intelligence, and the solving of this problem is already in the mind of infinite intelligence, and I now allow myself to be the channel through which infinite intelligence reveals the solution to me. And I'm going to take things one step at a time, do what is in front of me to do, and allow myself to be guided and led every step of the way into this solution. And as you do this, you also have the responsibility to banish those egoic thoughts that arise that will try to shut it down. You can say, be gone. You just say, be gone. Peace. Be still. You dispel those thoughts by realizing and recognizing that infinite intelligence is active within your mind. And any thoughts that negate that, you acknowledge them and you dispel them with ease and simplicity. After you dispel a negative thought, then you start thinking in the opposite way of where that thought was trying to direct you. The thought was trying to direct you away from infinite intelligence and into your own separateness that is all about proving how you have unsolvable problems. Anytime your thought says, no, you can't do that, you say, yes, I can, because infinite intelligence can. Anytime a thought says, I don't know how, you say, but there is something within me that is connected to infinite intelligence that does know how. Anytime you say, you're all by yourself and nobody's going to help you, you say, I am not alone. It's impossible for me to be alone because I am one with infinite intelligence who is the creator of me and is creating me in this very instant. And I have power over my own mind, and I can focus my mind on that power where the solution lies. It's up to us to choose the thoughts that we want to think, but it's not up to us to create the solution to the problems or the answer to our so-called prayers. It's up to that power that creates us in the moment to do that for us. You're going to have a very wonderful experience when you start to think in these terms and you start allowing yourself to be the divine child that you are. And when you start seeing yourself as the divine child that you are, guided and led by infinite intelligence, and who is loved and cared for by infinite intelligence, then you can stop misusing your mind to create aloneness and isolation from the solutions to your problems and start to embrace the solutions to your problems. And things can really start turning around for you. And once you recognize that the infinite is a power that anybody can call upon, and it doesn't care what you call it. It doesn't care what your religion is or lack thereof. It doesn't care what your sexual orientation, your gender identification, just like oxygen couldn't care less about who's inhaling as long as it gets into those lungs. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.